And our next guest will call on the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, tomorrow to fully approve the vaccines. It's an effort to stop vaccine hesitancy and move along approval of booster shots. Kansas Senator Roger Marshall, who is also a physician, is joining us now. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate your time.
You bet, Jillian. Glad to be here. And you're right. We need to be focused right now on getting vaccines in those 20% of American adults that don't have immunity and protecting the most vulnerable. And that's why I am calling on the FDA to get full approval for the current vaccinations. That's going to kill two birds with one stone. About a fourth of the people that have not been vaccinated say they would get vaccinated if indeed there was full approval. And then also focusing on those mostly at risk. This would free up doctors to get that third vaccination, the booster shot, in people's arms. And I would just reference some real-world evidence from our friends in Israel who show that 95% of the people who have died from the COVID recently have comorbidities. Our friends in the UK studied 220,000 people with the Delta variant. And what it showed is that 80% of the people were over the age of 50, and then 2/3 of them had some type of comorbidity and had the vaccine as well. So let's protect the vulnerable and get the vaccines in the people's arms who we can. It's that simple. This could have the biggest impact of all things that the federal government could do to help America right now.
Well, and backing up some of what you were just talking about, we'll go ahead and pull up this graphic here. This is from the Kaiser Family Foundation. This is a survey that asks people if they're more likely to get vaccinated if, and one of the things you'll see on here is one of the vaccines currently authorized for emergency use received full approval from the FDA. 44% of those are in the wait and see category. So, you know, to the point that you just made, I think a lot of people are waiting to see if this is going to be fully approved. So keep us updated on where you go with that. In the meantime, you know, the White House has put a lot of blame on Republicans for creating this vaccine hesitancy, if you will. Nancy Pelosi has said certainly the Republican Party has been delinquent in embracing the science that people need to be vaccinated. So point blank, is this Republicans' fault?
Yeah, of course not. You know, it's incredible that President Trump developed the vaccine at warp speed at record time. All President Biden had to do was drive the Trump train that was full of the Trump vaccine. And there are a group of Democrats that are hesitant as well. I don't care what party you are. If we can get full authorization of these vaccines, that's going to help. And there's something else the FDA could do as well, that they could give an emergency use authorization for the more traditional vaccines, the non-mRNA that are out there, and that would help some people as well. Look, America's doing incredibly. We're kicking this virus's butt right now. We're down to only 20% of American adults without some type of immunity. Thank goodness that the children do really well. This is like the common cold to children. So let's focus on the people that are most vulnerable. That would be our senior citizens and those people with underlying health care conditions. If we can get the third vaccine in those folks, you're going to see the morbidity, the mortality fall way down.
Absolutely.
We need to be focused on hospitalization and deaths, not the number of people that are carrying an asymptomatic virus.
And before we move on to the next topic, just to prove the point even more, we can pull up this information here showing Americans who want to wait and see before getting the vaccine nearly split, 39% Democrat, 41% Republican. So that right there tells you a lot. In the meantime, let's talk about what's going on in Capitol Hill, because it is a busy weekend in the Senate. We'll start off here with this bipartisan $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. Senator Schumer has said that the text is being finalized. That's what we heard Griff Jenkins say just a few minutes ago. Have you yourself seen any of that text?
Julian, I can only wish. You know, my staff's been texting me about every 2 hours since sometime yesterday afternoon, and still no text. Any hour now is what they're telling us. But regardless, look, you know, my hat's off to all the people, bipartisan senators, that have worked so hard. You know, probably 2/3 of Americans want some type of an infrastructure plan that paves the way to our future. But what they don't want is one that's going to, is going to mortgage our children's future and tax current hardworking Americans to oblivion. So I look forward to the final text. We're going to see if we can take a decent bill and make it even better. Right now, I'm a no. But I would love to see some type of amendments that can get me to be able to support this infrastructure bill.
Real quick, because we're running out of time, multi-part question. Why are you a no? Senator Susan Collins seems to think there are enough Republican votes. So do you think ultimately this passes? And how much of a win would this be for the president then?
Well, I think it will be a win for America. That's what my focus is. Senator Collins has done an incredible job. She's one of the sharpest people I've ever met. Nobody is better prepared when she walks into a meeting. So I think that this is a good bill. I bet she's right. She probably has the votes to get it across the finish line. I think how are we paying for it? Right now, there's about $550 billion of new money. About $200 billion of it is going to come from unused COVID relief dollars. I would like to see a bigger chunk of that. I'd like to see more regulatory processes improved, environmental processes, several other things as well. So there's some opportunities to improve this bill, and we're going to keep fighting to improve it.
Okay, we will keep an eye on it and see what happens. Senator Roger Marshall from Kansas, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jillian.